What's up? What's up? What's good? Happy Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for logging in, showing me that support, downloading. Um, Twitter at underscore Clarence Jones, YouTube, Clarence Jones Sports Media, website, cjsportsmedia.com. Holla at me, I holla at you. Follow me, I follow you back. Feels good to be back in the studio. Been out last week. Done my podcast on the phone, so it's feel good to be back, looking at you and talking to you at the same time. And today, it's all about, I decided as I was working on my podcast last night, I was like, man, what do I talk about? What do I want to talk about? And what do I want to talk to you about? What do I want to tell you? And I want to tell you, today is going to basically be about handing out flowers. We hear the saying in this world, give people their flowers, give that person their flowers. Don't be a hater, don't ignore, give credit. And what I'm doing today, what I'm talking about today is Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay. I'm giving Floyd Money Mayweather his flowers today. All right. I'm a fan of boxing. I started watching boxing, I want to say sometime in the 2000s. I can't remember the exact year, but I've been a fan of boxing since the 2000s, as far as watching it. I think one of the first fighters I remember seeing box, as far as pay per view wise, at home ordered, my family ordered, was, I want to say, Roy Jones Jr. You know, and from my time watching boxing, from seeing many great boxers do their thing, from Roy Jones Jr. I remember Antonio Tarver, Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. And many other great boxers. You know, I remember them, watching the highlights either on YouTube or actually watching them growing up as a kid to now. But I don't think no boxer has done it the way Floyd Money Mayweather has done it. We got greats, but today I'm talking about the greatest. And it's arguably, the argument can be made that Floyd Money Mayweather is the greatest boxer of all time. The greatest boxer of all time. The argument can be made. And you think about it and you say how and why, and it's not fair. And some of you may say, hey man, you disrespecting so and so, man, from back in the days, oh man, you know, you was too young to remember, blah, 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 man. You disrespect. No, that's not what this episode is about today. I'm not in the business of disrespecting legends in sports in general, no matter what it is. Boxing, basketball, baseball, football. I don't do that. Okay. But the way Floyd Money Mayweather has basically, did it is what make him great. What he did in the ring, what he did outside the ring, what he did before he got in the ring, what he did after, getting out the ring. We're talking about 50 and 0. Just let that sink in for a minute. 50 wins and 0 losses. Let that sink in for a minute. 50 wins and 0 losses. 27 knockouts. Come on now. And many people, some will hate and say, well, Clarence, he pick and choose his fights. He didn't fault so and so at the right time. And what if, and I've been on record for many of my podcast episodes. I've mentioned Floyd and said things like how I wish he would have fought Manny Pacquiao in like 2009, 2007. I've said stuff like that. Like, man, Floyd picks his fights. But at the end of the day, he pick him and he wins. That boxer still wins. He wins. Agree to fight Floyd, whether it was late in his career, middle of his career, or early in his career. That fighter, agreed to fight Floyd. So let's not be a hater there and say, well, he pick and chooses his fights at the, that's how he beat so and so. Don't do that. Again, let it sink in. 50 wins and 0 losses, 27 knockouts. And the way he did it, Mayweather Promotions, got his own brand, putting together his own fights. I mean, come on now. Now, Floyd been telling us he was the best since I don't know when. You see the hats, TBE, you know. But I'm on record, man, the argument can be made. You know, the money team movement brand. I mean, you see what Floyd is doing. I mean, many boxers, you know, didn't even went that far, couldn't to. I mean, they just couldn't. I mean, they can't because of certain things, Floyd retired on his own, you know. He retired on his own. That's one of the things I like about it. He wasn't like forced to retire or he just had to leave because so and so. I mean, Floyd left the ring on his own willing, strong power, you know. And he's entertaining. I mean, Floyd has always been entertaining from the time he started his career. I think he used to call himself like, what is it? Was it Pretty Boy Floyd? I mean, he always been entertaining, you know. He retired pretty much on his own terms and he made smart investments. He retired on his own terms and made smart investments, aka the richest boxer ever. So this is just not about, oh, well, Clarence, you saying because Floyd got more money or because he got brands, Mayweather Promotions, the money team. That's what make him better than blah, blah, blah. No. This man won in the ring and outside the ring, and he did it at a different level. That's what separate him from the other great boxers. Floyd did it on a different level. Started his own brand, his own company, Mayweather Promotions, got his own fights, got other people fighting on his card, on his Mayweather Promotions brand. I mean, look how he have expanded the sport of boxing. Now, I'm not a boxer, never thought about boxing, but I like the way how he handled his profession. I mean, the way Floyd moved the world and fighting people like things around and present things to the sport of boxing and step outside the box and entertain the Conor McGregor, Logan Paul. He's set to fight someone, I think in September, named, please, I hope I don't mess his name up. I'm gonna just say his first name. I think is it Makaru? Is it Makaru Asakakura in September? And this person is a former MMA champion. So Floyd is still entertaining us. And he's going outside the box. What we say, man, we've all had that thought of, man, what it would be like if a boxer was to fight a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So he took it to another level. It has nothing to literally do with 50 and 0. Now, most people would say that. And 50 and 0 is damn impressive. I mean, that's impressive. I'm sure any boxer, that's living right now would say they would love to have that 50 and 0 record. Any boxer that out here now that's living in this world and breathing in this world that, retired long time ago, retired a few years ago, would say, hey, I would love to be 50 and 0 and retire and make smart investments, become the richest boxer, expand the sport of boxing, Mayweather Promotions, the money team, the best ever. I mean, that's amazing. And Floyd Money Mayweather inspired me, not to box, but just to say, hey, you can do this on your own. You don't need nobody to, give you nothing. Nobody don't have to, you can do this on your own and people will help you out when they see you doing your thing and helping yourself. Floyd is like, when it comes to sports, is a great example of independence, doing it on your own and believing in yourself and not just backing it up by talking, but action. We all heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words. And I think Floyd have done that. His words was loud, but his action was loud too. 50 and 0, 27 knockouts, smart investments, retired on his own. Don't have to be boxing till he old. And this is no disrespect to any boxer that ever boxed till they old. Okay, this is no disrespect to no boxer that had to fight, because I mean times were hard back then. I remember I took a class at the Academy of Art University, um, and I'm still a student there, by the way. But I took a class I want to say last fall semester. I think the class was titled African American Studies. I can't think of the exact name of the course. Oh man, African Americans, athletes, some basically. Look, I ain't gonna keep stumbling and stumbling, but I know it was a course that involved African Americans and African American athletes. It was African American athletes, and it was basically about you know athletes from way back then to a little bit now. I remember talking about Joe Louis, and I remember my class. We were all studying and watching film on Joe Louis, and realizing what he went through from becoming a great boxer, and going to the military, and you know um, getting advertisements and endorsements, and you know and he ended up having to fight till he was very not very old, but till he was old. He should have been retired, but he had to keep fighting to support his family. And I also remember reading about, and also we talked about Jack Johnson. And he was a great him, Joe Louis. We talked about Muhammad Ali. I mean, like you would think this is a boxing class, but it was really not. We also talked about Jesse Owens. We talked about Serena Williams. I mean, many great athletes, LeBron James. I mean, we talked about a lot of great athletes from back then to the mid to now. But I remember, like I said, being there, I'm talking boxing. I remember us going over and really studying these great, careers of boxers from Joe Louis and Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali. But I also remember studying and reading about the hard times that all three of them had. From Muhammad Ali dealing with his name changing, and Joe Louis happened to fight till he's way past his prime just to support his family. And Jack Johnson, he put fear in a lot of people. He was a bad man in that boxing ring, but he was a bad man outside that ring. People feared him, whether he was boxing or not. They feared him just by the way he talked, just by the way he looked. People feared Jack Johnson. So again, this podcast episode has nothing to do with disrespecting those three great men. God rest their soul that I just named: Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and many other great fighters that have fought in the game of boxing. But I just think when it comes to Floyd Money Mayweather, I mean, you got to give this man his flowers. I ain't saying he got to be number one on your list, but the argument can be made. Wherever you talk boxing at, in a barbershop, you know, with your friends at the crib, wherever y'all talk boxing at, Facebook, Twitter, Floyd got to be in your top five. But he can arguably be the best. He can arguably be number one because he changed the game of boxing. I'm sure there's so many great young boxers right now on the rise coming up, and they'll tell you, man, Floyd motivated me. They could have been thinking about doing something else with their lives. Might have heard Floyd Money Mayweather talk, see his fights, and say, I can do that. Floyd expired people. He changed the game of boxing. Now how Steph Curry changed the game of basketball in the form of shooting. I mean, every kid now, don't matter from the age 4 to older, starting from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every kid wants to be Steph Curry. Every kid feel like they can be Steph Curry. He's not that tall. He's fast. Hey, you know what? I can shoot. I can't dunk a basketball, but I can shoot like that. I can do some dribbles, get step back, little crossover here, then step back again and shoot a three. I can do that. I can move without the ball. The same way how Steph Curry changed the game of basketball, Floyd did that in the sport of boxing. He's not that big. He got a big mouth, but he back it up. He's fast, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Credit to Muhammad Ali. But Floyd, Floyd's that same way. And that young boxer is like, hey, I can do that. I'm not that big, but I'm a little fast. I got a little bit of boxing skills. I can do that. Floyd changed the game. And like I said, you look at the business side of it. How many stories you've heard about? I mean, I know I've heard a lot where boxers, end up having to fight longer than, they should, or they leave the game on a bad note. They didn't let the game by themselves. They had to end up being forced in the hospital. They got, sick with something. I mean, it's sad stories. Real talk. This is nothing to really joke about. No, it's real talk. A lot of boxing stories that I've heard growing up as a kid to now. I'm sure you've heard some boxing stories where boxers' lives after they done boxing just don't be great or good. Either they in jail, they sick with something, they find out something wrong with their brain. I mean, it's so many sad, depressing, heartbreaking stories because we like, man, these boxers fought for this, amount of years and they living like this. It ain't nothing the boxing blah 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 can do. The boxing promotion company can do. It's so much that play a part. So that's why I'm like, man, I thought about it last night. I'm like, man, Floyd, in the ring, outside the ring, retired on his own, made smart investments, talk the talk, but also walk to walk. This man can arguably be the greatest boxer of all time. And I think he can basically, I ain't even gonna say I think, he can open doors up for more upcoming boxers on the rise. Now, we got a lot of boxers out here now that's on the rise. And I believe Floyd have paved the way. Now, of course, many great fighters paved the way for Floyd. His dad, his uncle, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I mean, Floyd will tell you all these people he look up to growing up. You go to all these, platforms where you hear Floyd talking on. He always give credit to the boxers before him. That's one thing I can say about Floyd. He's never discrediting them and talking down. No, he always give credit. They paved the way for Floyd. Floyd paving the way for these new generation boxers that's on the rise. They see what he's doing, how he's starting his own independent brands, promotion companies. He left the game on his own, made smart investments, the richest boxer ever. That's inspiration, whether you're a boxer or not. You can just be a manager at a shoe store. And it gives you that motivation. Like, I can do this. I can someday have my own store. Or I can help others come up. And that's what Floyd is doing. Don't just let the 50-0 with the 27 knockouts fool you. This man is great outside the ring. Willing to put his reputation on the line to fight Conor McGregor. Now, many may got hey, that was staged, Clarence. It wasn't real. It is what it is. At the end of the day, if he would have lost to Conor, most people, especially the ones that's hating on Floyd, they would have loved that. Floyd put his reputation, his confidence on the line. He put his boxing hood, his manhood on the line and fought an MMA fighter and beat him. Logan Paul fought Logan Paul. Logan Paul was very bigger than Floyd, taller than Floyd, and, Floyd won, but he ain't afraid to put his reputation on the line. Oh, I ain't gonna lie. I was one of the ones like, man, Floyd, don't do it. Don't fight Conor McGregor. Don't fight Logan Paul. What if they mess around and catch you with a quick, whatever, right hook, and they knock you out now? Where everybody talking about 49-0, 50-0, because everybody don't really give Floyd that. I think that 50th win came when he beat Conor. I want to say, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think that 50th win came when he beat Conor. But either way, 49-0, 50-0, it don't matter. Many people was ready to see Conor win that fight and Floyd lose that fight. Because Floyd got a lot of haters, man. Floyd Mayweather got a lot of haters. I mean, man, a lot of people don't have nothing nice to say about Floyd. Always somebody want to see him lose, or Floyd this, or Floyd always this, and he's always bragging, and blah, blah, blah. Floyd inspired many people in this world beyond boxers. There's no reason to hate on this man. But I'm just saying, he was willing to put that on the line. Now, I get it. We've seen a few boxers. Like, I remember in that African-American athlete class I was in at that Academy of Art University, I remember seeing a clip of Muhammad Ali. I want to say when he fought, was it Andre the Giant? But yeah, I mean, like I said, Floyd, and like I said, Floyd, he tells you, man, who paved the way for him. But the way he expanded and doing different things, it bring a huge, outstanding recognition from many people that's thinking about, hey, what do I do with my life? What do I want to do with my life? What can I do with my life? You know what I'm saying? Floyd changed the game. Just like Curry did it with, everybody's shooting now, right? Now we get it. There was many shooters before Curry. Reggie Miller, Larry Bird, Ray Allen, even his dad, Dale Curry. The list goes on. There were many shooters before Steph Curry got in the game and got established. But Curry changed it up. Hey, you know what? He's not that tall. Most of the shooters was kind of tall, right? 6'7", 6'5", six, you know what I'm saying, 6'8", and beyond, 6'9". Curry 6'3", quick, fast. He inspire, and that's why you see many kids today thinking I can be an NBA player. I can make my middle school team. I can make my high school team. I can be a great college player because of Stephen Curry. And what do you think boxers are doing today that's on the rise? I can do this. I got this. I heard what Floyd said. He inspired me. 50-0, 27 knockouts. I can do that. I can make my own brand. I can retire on my own. I can take care of others and help others. I can promote fights. It brings a lot of people to the boxing. Just when we thought boxing was fading away, like there was a time, man, a couple of years ago, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I remember people saying, man, boxing was dead. Ain't no great fighters no more, or the great fighters ain't fighting the best, or, fighters is retiring too early, or, we're not getting the fights we want. That ain't the case now. I mean, we getting fights we want, right? Even in the women's side, we got Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall coming up in, is it September, I want to say? Then there's talks going around with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford supposed to be going at it in October. I mean, we getting the fights we want to see. You know what I'm saying? The sport of boxing is literally, man, evolving for the better. I love it. But you can't talk boxing without mentioning Floyd Money Mayweather. Whether you talking in the ring or you talking outside the ring when it comes to business, you can't talk that without mentioning Floyd Money Mayweather. Pretty boy Floyd, whatever you want to call him. I'm giving this man his flowers. And last and definitely not least, congratulations to Floyd Money Mayweather. He is now included in the where's it at? The 2022 International Boxing Hall of Fame. Okay. Floyd Money Mayweather is now in the International Boxing Hall of Fame class 2022. Wow. Great. So when we talking best boxers of all time, you got to have Floyd in that. I ain't saying he got to be number one. He got to be in your top 5. The argument can be made. I just gave you a breakdown. Like I said, and I even, talk, most people when they defending Floyd, when they in a debate, they letting that 50-0 just keep coming out. 50-0, 50-0, 50-0. That's impressive. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at more, man, this man 50-0, 27 knockouts, and look what he done. I mean, look how he got to 50-0. It's not even that he's 50-0, but along with that, it's like, look how he did it. He fought boxers at the right time. I don't get, oh man, that dude was too young. Man, that dude was old. Man, he was out of shape. Dude wasn't ready. Man, dude got paid. I don't want to hear it. I've heard Floyd said many times, hit and don't be hit. Okay. The key, hit and don't be hit. All right. I've heard Floyd said that. We've all heard him say it. And we've all heard the phrase every single day, whether we're hearing it from our friends, loved ones, work smarter, not harder. That's Floyd Money Mayweather. Hit and don't be hit. Everybody be talking about, oh man, he does that little shoulder thing he does with his shoulder. I mean, do you want him to just sit in that ring and take hits? The sport of boxing is not like football and basketball where you on offense 1 minute, then you don't know. You in boxing, you on offense and defense at the same time. It's hit and don't be hit. It's work smarter, not harder. So when he's picking these fights and you mad and you hating, talking about, oh, well, man, I went on YouTube and I just realized, man, he fought so-and-so when so-and-so was going through this, or so-and-so wasn't really healthy, or so-and-so was kind of out of shape, or so-and-so wasn't on his mind, or so-and-so said that he didn't really train well. Come on, man. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater. Give Floyd Money Mayweather his flowers. He's one of the greatest sports athletes in the world. Not even just boxing, just one of the greatest sports athletes in the world. You know, look how he got the 50 and 0. He done it the right way. He could have easily just take fights whenever, and who knows how it would have turned out, but we will never know. You got to be smart in business. Don't matter what type of business it is, sports business, whatever, insurance business, housing business, car business, whatever business you got, store, marketing, you got to be smart with it. You got to know what to take and what not to take, what to accept, what not to accept, what to avoid, when to, you got to be smart. Who cares what other people got to say? Oh, you know what I mean? Who cares? Work smarter, not harder. Hit and don't be hit. He done it the right way. And what I love the most is him just being able to retire on his own. Because so many years, man, going back, in the days, man, our black people had to fight. Boxers just had to fight and fight and fight to survive. Fighting through racism, fighting in the ring, fighting outside the ring for freedom rights. I mean, so many of our great boxers like Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson have paved the way because they didn't just fought boxers; they fought racism, they fought stereotype. I mean, everything. Something Floyd didn't fight. All right, but Floyd learned from that. Now I'm sure in his time Floyd might have went through racism and stereotype. No disrespect, but you know what I mean when I'm saying he didn't went through those hard times. Many black, African Americans, whatever you want to call us, we've thankful today, but we got to also thank the people that paved the way for us. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jackie Robinson. I mean, many greats, that have paved the way for us. So when I'm saying Floyd didn't went through what they went through, that's what I mean. Not saying he haven't experienced racism, because I'm sure Floyd Money Mayweather has experienced racism, and I'm sure he has experienced stereotype. We all do. We all, experience racism and stereotype every day, you know. But what I'm coming from is what Jack Johnson and Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali went through was tough. They didn't just fight fighters. They fought racism, stereotype, and many other just disrespectful, harmful, bad, terrible, heartbreaking things. And like I say, Floyd always give credit to them. Always. I give credit to them. I thank them. I just think Floyd expanded the game, and this is no disrespect to nobody that has ever boxed, whether you black, white, orange, pink, red, yellow, green, don't matter, blue. This has nothing to do with me disrespecting the boxers that have put in that time in that ring and really got in that ring. Whether you last for 6 seconds, or you last for 6 days, or you last for 6 years, 6 months, whatever. I'm not disrespecting you. I just want to highlight a great young boxer that did it his way, did it the right way, pick and choose, manage it, promoted it, got other fighters opportunities. Now he's one of the richest boxers ever. That's outstanding. He's in the Hall of Fame class of 22, International Hall of Fame boxing class. I mean, this is great, So this is no disrespect to no boxer that's in the Hall of Fame or boxer that's not in the Hall of Fame. No disrespect, because boxing is a hard sport. People lose their lives in the ring. People get sick. People don't be the same. People talk different. People walk different. Boxing changed people. And a lot of time we see it change for the bad, for the heartbreaking, like that. It's just so hurtful reading articles where we hearing boxers died, boxers is diagnosed with this. I mean, we've heard sad stories about the game of boxing, and some of our favorite boxers are just stories we don't even know that this person was, and we find out they was a fighter, and we find out that they got sick or they died because of boxing. What happened in the ring? It's just dangerous. So when we see a young man, whether he black, white, yellow, pink, red, orange, or blue, or green, do something like Floyd Money Mayweather did. Started, got in the game, 50 and 0, did it the right way, pick and choose his fights at the right time, 27 knockouts. But most importantly, he retired on his own healthy. He retired on his own healthy, made smart investments. If you're teaching a boxing class, you got to have Floyd Money Mayweather as a module. Floyd Money Mayweather got to be a module in a boxing class. If you're teaching a sports class, Floyd Money Mayweather must be in a module. Maybe a part 2 module to show this man got it done in the ring. outside the ring. He retired on his own. And it's a great story. It's not a story of, those sad stories that we used to hearing, that we used to reading about. The Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Jack Johnson. I mean, it's not that type of story for Floyd Money Mayweather. And I just think that's great. It hurts my soul. It bothers me hearing about boxers and how the game of boxing has changed this fighter. They're not the same no more. They can't fight no more. They can't walk no more. They can't talk no more. They got to get help, being fed. I mean, it's so much sad stories. And I wasn't going to get on the podcast today and just talk to you about the sad stories from all the great boxers that have paved the way. I want to talk about our boxers that have done it different. We can kind of, rely on that. Because sometimes, thinking about the past and think about the hurt, it makes us more hurt and past. It just makes us more hurt thinking about the past. So today I want to take you to another stage of boxing, because so many people nowadays, I've talked to young boxers, man, and they say, hey, man, Clarence, I'm thinking about boxing. I want to box, but my family say don't do it because look what happened to Muhammad Ali. Look what happened to Joe Louis. Look what happened to all these articles. You hear about these young boxers not even being able to make it a whole 2-3 years yet. And I tell these boxers, male and females, I say, do what you want to do. Believe in yourself. And I always mention Floyd Money Mayweather. I ain't saying you got to be like Floyd. I ain't saying you got to talk and dress like Floyd. You ain't got to walk like Floyd. But look how Floyd Mayweather managed his boxing career. Look at that. Be a smart boxer. Work smarter, not harder. Hit and don't be hit. That's what I tell the young boxers when they talk to me about they don't have no support, because people are so afraid. They loved ones so afraid that they're going to die. They're going to get diagnosed with something, you know? So I brought a different story of boxing to the podcast today that I really want you to take and consider it. If you know anybody that's thinking about boxing, that want to box, talk to them about Floyd Money Mayweather. Show them how the game can go. Show them how you can get in the game, manage the game, become successful, become an owner, become a millionaire, and at the same time, give back to others, help others, not just black people, help everybody, white, brown, yellow, orange, blue, pink, purple, help people. That's what Floyd Money Mayweather is. He giving everybody, like, what I like about Floyd the most is he give people a chance to box him. Whether you're a wrestler, you're an MMA fighter, you're a YouTube star, he gives people a chance to box him. Can you imagine if LeBron James was like once he retired, or even doing, his season now, he's playing LeBron, Curry, KD. Can you imagine if some of those guys, great players, great athletes, was to travel the world and just give people opportunity to play them one-on-one or play pickup? Now, we get it. There's time, we see on YouTube or Twitter or whatever like that. We see, KD may be at the Rucker. Curry, I don't think I never saw a video with Curry being somewhere, but I've seen videos with Jimmy Butler, KD, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, James Harden. They just at like pick up ball. They at some rec gymnasium playing ball with regular people. I like that because it shows, hey, just because I'm famous, I'm no different than you. We can still bond and connect. But can you imagine if they was doing it like how Floyd? I mean, Floyd literally be giving people chances from overseas. That's one thing I like about him. He's willing to put what he earned, his reputation on the line, just to say, hey, I can give you opportunity to fight me. I can show you how to get better. Here's what me and you can do. We can make a lot of money together. We can both become successful. That's what the world should be about, helping people. Not always just worrying about you, but worry about others. Help others. Whether they black, white, it don't matter. Help others. Help everybody. That's what I like about Floyd, man. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Like I said, I really want to just really talk about Floyd today and give him his flowers, man. If you know anybody that deserve flowers, give them their flowers, man. Don't be a hater. All right, don't do that. Because when you hate, great things don't come to you. When you hate, you can't celebrate. All right. You can't. Give people their flowers, man. Social media, like button, share button, comment, congratulate them, man. You know what I'm saying? Give people their flowers. That's what life is about. What goes around comes around. You do great things come around to you. Don't be a hater. All right, NBA Finals, what? Game 6 tomorrow, right? Look, I'm still sticking with Boston in 7. All right, I got a lot of people hit me up on what was Game 5 Monday. Everybody hit me like, yo, you still rolling with Celtics for 7 games? I said, yeah. I still got Boston in 7 because I put too much time in just like, man, what they gonna do? What? Should I change my mind? No, I don't do that. I don't see how some people do it. I ain't judging you, but I put a lot of time in Boston and Warriors series. This Golden State Boston series, and I say, man, look, I'm sticking with Boston. I think Boston still got the better players. They just, I mean, Friday, I mean, no, sorry, no, Monday, Game 5, they just, oh my God, that was a hot mess. But I think, Game 6 tomorrow at their place, I expect Boston to win and, win it in 7, finish up at Golden State. It's a tough series. I told you before the series even started that it was going to go 7 games. So there's no need to flip out now. I mean, is it a little crazy? Did I thought it was going to go back to back? Well, Golden State won game 4 and game 5. No, I didn't saw that happening. But who cares? It don't matter. I mean, I said it going 7. I said the series is going 7. I'm sticking with Boston. I think Jason Tatum will find a way to, put the world on notice. He's hearing everybody saying, "Hey, he ain't stepping up." He's played awful this entire world, not World Series, NBA Finals. He played, terrible this, total series. He heard it. You know, Boston got to figure it out, and I think they will figure it out. I mean, I'm sticking with my pick. I'm not doing that. Oh, how you feel now? Still feel like Boston can win it. All right. But yeah, other than that, Twitter @_ Clarence Jones. I'll be talking to NBA Finals Game 6 tomorrow on Twitter. So if you on Twitter @_ Clarence Jones, send me a follow. Let's talk sports. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about what's happening during the game. YouTube channel, Clarence Jones Sports Media. You can check me out. You got a YouTube channel. Whatever you're doing on the channel, positive. Hope positive vibes only. I hope. Holla at me. I want to support you. Check out my website, read my blogs, fantasy sports, cjsportsmedia.com. By the way, we just had our actual fantasy draft this past Sunday night. I did great. I'll post my roster maybe, what's today? Wednesday. I'll post my roster probably Friday, Saturday, sometime. Just let you check me out, let you see who I got. But I'm playing in this keeper league this year. So this year, our league is Straight Keepers League. 18 roster spots, and we get to choose which 18 we want to keep. We can keep all 18 or we can keep some, but this is the first time we've done it. The CFFL Fantasy League, cjsportsmedia.com/CFFL. The first 6 years we've been just doing redraft every year. And I'm on YouTube. I'm like, man, I want to flip this thing around. I love fantasy football. I want to flip this thing around. Let's do Keeper League, man. Let's put the pressure on everybody, including me. Like whoever you pick, more than likely you got to stick with them. If you drop them, then you pretty much going to be drafting young, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people in my league going to be keeping their players. So I'm excited for this Keepers League. If you play fantasy football, holla at me. I can join your league. I got a league of my own, but I'm looking for more leagues to join. All right, holla at me. Social media, we'll talk and talk about draft situation, time, all that fun stuff. That's all I got. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember, give people their flowers. Please do that for me. Have a great day. Have a safe day. Have a sports day. Peace. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading.